Yeah.
Thank you, Rahul. Here, and I heard from our previous speaker. He really set up the context as well, why we are here and what we are discussing, and what we are going to discuss in what are the challenges, opportunities, and the way forward in bringing more global collaborations and bringing in more collaboration from industry and academia side specifically. So yeah, thank you.
So yeah, we this session we are going to have it as a conversational session. So the audience, I would request you to make use of the time of Ankita ma'am and ask questions in the chat. In between, when we have time, we are going to take these questions. Otherwise, I think there are no presentations. I'll ask Ankita a few questions, and then I think you can get a very good idea about how startups are going abroad now, and what are the challenges, and what are the best practices that startups can undertake. So great. So Ankita, your experience has been a lot in the Europe and India business collaborations. So how does it work, like if startups have to go abroad, current scenario, how what does it look like?
I think it's a very pertinent question in the current scenario because lot of databases wherever you will hear so many startups, scale ups are there. Data was like previous years, data was like okay, it's shooting like that. But now, if we'll see, things are like a lot of startups are just going out from the picture. Why it is happening? So if I'll say a lot of new domains are coming, a lot of with new policies, with new initiatives, a lot of new areas are also coming. Here, major things what I see is market access aspect, because whatever we are creating, whatever startups or scale ups, even SMEs are creating, whatever products they are developing, so they are not deeming fit in the market requirement. So herein demand driven question is there. So what I advise generally even to startups and other partners, that let's see what is the demand in here, whether it's in our home country, whether it's abroad, because if someone is coming from other countries also, they have their own product on the basis of whatever demand is there. But when they're coming in India, they are seeking new areas wherein Indian demand is there. But then for the successful collaboration, they have to match their demand with the right product. So here are startups also, even academias, whomsoever are going forward in the what kind of products they need to develop. So they should be focusing on the demand aspect and what is the right kind of market is here. So there is a big gap in current scenario, although we are again and again reminding ourselves that yes, there's a big gap and there big gap is there, but what we are doing exactly in terms of bridging that gap. Lot of new platforms are available, but what I see, even the visibility of those kind of platforms available, new kind of policies, or what kind of collaborations should academia should be tying up with the other partners, they are not maybe in the reach of the right partners, or as in terms of visibility, there are no direct links, because generally whenever any schemes or platforms are coming in, a lot of hierarchies in between. So we need to clear all these hierarchies. We should be very very clear that yes, these are our stakeholders, these things should be very clear and ease and within the outreach of the companies. It should not be like that there are three parties in between and other. If some SME or academia is coming, they should be seeking 10,000 questions and filling 10,000 forms, and then they are getting the answers. So what I see in current scenario, these are the important issues which we need to really highlight among ourselves, in the mind of policy stakeholders, especially in the mind of regulators. Because if you see, just I mean, if I take the data aspect, so yes, data protection law is here, but lot of questions around it, how academia or the new startups are taking in, because we are talking about the consent management platform, so many things around it, but whether our startups or the academia or the right stakeholders are aware about it. No, I don't think so, because whenever I am speaking with the even the smaller partners or even the big ones, they are themselves in the doubt. Yes, so how we are going to talk to other partners if someone is coming from Europe? So how we are going to talk with them, because they are following GDPR? How we are going to align ourselves in the data aspect? So small things are there. And even in 5G 6G, we say new satcom policy is coming and new players are coming, and daily basis news are about Airtel or Bharti and other players, or the Starlink. But what are the opportunities around it? We need to see all these aspects. And then interest from global companies, because I'm not sure that our academia is well aware about a lot of B2Bs are happening, wherein, because in Europe and other places, if you see, a lot of startups are coming from academia background, from the incubators from their side, and they are coming in these B2B or matchmaking platforms. They are presenting their products, but what I see from our side, that link is missing. Only the big companies or the players who are already in there, or the business incubate side, they are there. But what about the real companies who should be there? So we need to, I think, focus on these pertinent sites.
Mhm. So, how is the funding like for suppose the startups and like small startups? I think the first thing they have to see is like, okay, going abroad is like seems like without funding, it's not
Hmm.
possible. So, what are there any channels you can suggest to startups innovators?
Yes, there are various channels, but we need to really pick in the right thread. Because if startup, see, if there is, sometimes it's just the idea, sometimes it's, yes, they have first level POC, proof of concept with them, sometimes it's just a lab product, sometimes they
Hmm.
are really looking for the only for the infrastructure, they are just need in the right instruments or the infrastructure where they can avail all the facilities, sometimes they just want only the funding, sometimes it's the skill set, they need more experts around it to guide them, sometimes it's the regulatory aspects, and sometimes it's just the right set of demand they need to see. Because as I earlier I pointed out this thing, that meeting with the right market and the right demand. So again, I'll start on that point. Whomsoever is seeking funding, so they should first of all match themselves with the right market. And when they match themselves with the right market, then they should go for the relevant stakeholders around it. Then BSOs and other people coming. And then the funding aspect comes. Because what I see, even not matching with the right regulatory framework in your market, that's also a negative point for our side. So we should be aware about what is the regulatory aspect, whether our product is going to be right fit set for there, or if we really want to scale up, what other companies, for example, Qualcomm is leading this L2 Pro, right? So they have very good set of startups who are working for very good products as well. There are a lot of initiatives in PPP mode. For example, Living Lab is one sort of this framework which we had established in Triple IT Hyderabad with the help of Smart City Mission and Ministry of Electronics and IT. So therein we saw the demand of what is the demand in the smart cities. And if Triple IT Hyderabad, being they have all industry players in there, but whether they are able to bring out the right set of POCs, right set of the product fit market, it was a question, pertinent question, even from the Minister of Electronics and IT side, that they have this meaty startup hub. But whether all these startups engaged in there, they are able to create some very good products which are actually relevant to our market. If not so, then why? Then because a lot of schemes which are providing seed funding, they're already existing. But whether that has been utilized in a right manner or not, so we need to give that direct link to our startups.
Mhm.
And what I say, even startups should also look for the right set of business organizations or the companies. Because in current scenario, no one can work in isolation. Even the big companies, they are creating solutions, but we need to have a complete product line. A lot of startups have good idea, so we should match our demand that whether good companies are already doing something around it. For example, Bharat 6G, if I'll say, in terms of their standards, because when we are talking about the 5G and 6G patterns, so what are the initiatives from government side? They must be doing something. We have standard development organization, TSTSI in place. So there are a lot of startups who are aware through the link of the big companies, for example, Tata, TCS and others. So they are entering in. they're working on the right set of product, they're getting even the funding
Mhm.
around it because they are meeting with the
Mhm.
right partner, right?
Mhm.
So meeting the right demand, looking for the right partner, then investors themselves will come to you. Okay, this
Hmm.
is the right set of product for
Yeah.
us. Even the big companies, like just I've mentioned to you, Living Lab, so they're in industries there, so they are giving the demand, talking to smart city missions and others, and then talking to academia whether you can help us with the skill set, we will provide you infrastructure. You just see the demand, and on the basis of the demand, on the problem statement, accurate problem statement, for example the waste management, water management issues, right? So
Mhm.
they've invited a lot of solutions, so these ideas and terms and all these I should say hackathon or whatever challenges they run, so they had invited SMEs or the startups, or it was open for all, and the solution have been
Mhm.
invited from all, globally. So a lot of people have come up, even from the Switzerland when company came, startup, small startup. So they are doing the work, and then there they saw that yes, herein regulators are there. If we will meet some, we can produce some right set of product for them. Big companies
Mhm.
giving us infrastructure, funding is
Mhm.
coming from even the partner because it's in the interest of the big company that if they are
Mhm.
really able to collaborate and getting the ready idea and able to scale up that one which is actually going in the market, so you
Mhm.
you can solve really all these problems. And then a lot of initiatives whatever available,
Mhm.
government also see yes you are filing the patent, we will reimburse you for your international filing. Even the Indian Patent Office, yes, scheme is there, but to turn around the game, you should focus on your right set of demand. Again and again, I'm
Demand.
putting this
Yeah.
word because if you're not able to see your market, then whatever you
Mhm.
are creating, you will be just going here and there
Hmm.
asking for
So
the okay,
how
where I put it. Yeah.
so how to meet the right demand? Like, are there any particular sectors nowadays that because now something like if we can tell the audience that okay, these are the sectors, these are like your best chances are here.
So in I want to put two things in here. So how to assess the demand? So first thing is, uh, as we hear, yes, SETCOM policy I mentioned, defense sector is there, aerospace. So in these big sectors, even the sustainability is one of the aspect. Energy is one of the aspect. So we need to link what all small problem statements are there. It's not like that in defense you just need to create the satellite or the missiles or rockets. No, so around that there are so many things are there, so how you're going to assess all these things? So for that, as I mentioned, B2B platforms are a very good area wherein a lot of companies came, so you just see what all companies are actually working in, and then you will see if these kind of companies, so you should hear them that yes if these kind of products are already in market, so what is the white space around it wherein we can
Hmm.
create, and we can actually create our homegrown product wherein we can produce something which is relevant for India, right? So that's one answer. Another aspect is that I'm not sure that how many companies or even the academias, because big companies they have a particular department which is actually looking for the patent databases, watching what all landscape in
Hmm.
technological area is there, what all competitors are there, because that's for the legal aspect for them to making the business decisions. But
Mhm.
in our scenario, what I see in SMEs, in the startups and the academia, yes, IP awareness is there, but how much they are using in their regular practice while creating even the project or looking for the products, how much they are seeking the help of available patent databases.
Hmm.
So I request and stress upon the fact again and again, please use the
Hmm.
free available patent
Creative search.
databases, which are the very authenticated source for you for whatever is happening right now. So
Hmm.
nowadays, it's just the basic skill set. You know your wherein you want to go, right? So you just can see. You just put the word energy
Hmm.
and or it's a basic operation. Just use the right set of keyword what you look for, and then
Yeah.
you will get the entire list, and then you can really click. Okay, it's just like a simple Google, right? So, but it's
Yeah.
going to be very specific Google for you on the patent documents.
Yeah.
Just see the what is the technological landscape around it.
Hmm.
Please go through their whatever latest reports all these patent offices, for example, European Patent Office, they have this as Passnet tool.
Hmm.
It's a wonderful tool. European Patent Office, they have freely available. And then World Intellectual Property Organization, Patent Scope is there. For Indian Patent Office, already that is there. But please
Hmm.
go through whatever documents they create. It's just who are the top 10 inventors. If you see the technology, what all, because patents always belongs to particular classification. If you are able to see in that particular classification all kind of for example, in vaccines, because after COVID, it was very pertinent that yes, in health so many things are happening, then in vaccination and related aspects. So now you are able to see that lot of industries around that, small industry picking the right set of problem, right? Sanitizers, we say this is a basic one, but with the
Hmm.
sanitizers also a lot of issues are there. So opportunities are there. We need to go for the right place and seeking the right area.
Yeah.
So I request again and again, even for the professors and others, whenever you are working, even for the thesis and other things, please at least advise your students, and you should themselves go on these office databases, and please have a
Yeah.
look at what are all top 10 competitors or what all top 10 technology areas are there. Ask your students to please have a look at what's happening around us, right? So even I'll give you very interesting example. So European Patent Office, they hold this annual innovators and inventors show as well, right? Award ceremonies. So therein, it's a 5 month thing they start, and they always ask for the applications, even from the Asia side, and there's so 1 or 2 Indian inventors were also there, right? So the different areas are there. With that set, you're really able to see that how they have mapped the demand, right,
Hmm.
and what they're creating. Then maybe you are capable enough, when you see they become inspiration for you, and when you see yes, this is the problem, actually we also can create something around it, right? And then there's a right answer for you. So even in the thesis, whatever, in the for the PhD students, whatever research and development projects, because I know that academia also work with
Yeah.
various ministries in various schemes, for example, tied in the schemes. So if you're submitting a very good proposal, and if you can really say that this is the market demand right now, wherein we can plug in with the industry as well, so you will yourself will see your product will directly go in market. So I think that's the right approach. You don't need
Absolutely.
any search. You just need to see the right strategy, because as we again and again say, market strategy is nothing but your IP strategy plus business strategy. And business strategy will always come second. Once you should be thoughtful around the fact what we are doing. We are not going to reinventing, but
Yeah.
we are not going to create something very disruptive, right? But we are picking the right problem at the right time, creating the right solution, mapping with the right partner, and yes, then you will see that yes, we are
Hmm.
actually in the right direction. So that's my advice.
Yeah. Patent search is a essential skill, folks. By the way, Ankita has put some links in the description. So the patent search platforms that she talked about, their links are in the description. It's an essential skill nowadays for even people who are non-experts in IP, and you can see already a very valid use case. And also, she has put some links on the smart city project and also the Bharat 6G alliance. So please check them out. After this, Ankita, I have this question. So the standards, because I think India doesn't think too much about standard, because I was doing my research in Europe, and I know standards was a big thing. I wrote a couple of papers on standards and IP. So for the audience here, please can you tell them what are standards first of all, because the audience is of all kinds of awareness level in standards and IP, and then why and how we can be more enthusiastic or more serious about standards here in India.
Absolutely. So as I'll start with the example in this one, because when we see the example, we always learn fast, right? So earlier, remember two plug and three pin plug, right? So right now, what we see, you have very particular pin plug is there, right? Three pin. And if you'll go in Europe and other places, you can see yes, two pin plug is three pin is already available, but you will be able to use only the two pin, but you have to have a particular adapter for the same, right? So what is the adapter? It's in technology which has actually been interoperable, and everyone is able to use it, and everyone is using it, and you are able to get it at a very cost saving price, right? So that is the standard. So we have the some a particular technology which is widely applicable. Everyone is Everyone is seeing, yes, this particular technology we can use and it is available for you,
Wonderful.
right? So that
Wonderful.
is the standard, and there's a power of standard. So I know that big companies are there already. They're already creating there's a lot of awareness around it. But whenever we hear these buzzwords, 5G, 6G, 4G, even nowadays, our smartphone is not just a smartphone. Lot of apps around it, lot of entrepreneurial sectors are coming around it. How it is coming? Because it's not just the internet we are using, it's not just the mobile telephony it's going on, but if you see, it's the emergence of new vertical sectors around it. You're able to create the Zomato and others, right? It's not just the e-commerce you are running on your smartphones, but there are so many areas around it. You can just have the various maps, GPS, right? With the satellite sector, so many companies are coming who are giving you, okay, now we are hearing about even the directly linking our mobile telephony with the Starlink, right? We are hearing about it. So how this is happening? So all these areas are actually because of standards. If someone, only big companies are creating something and they are only doing something in their home countries, so others will not be able to do that, and it's not going to be cost effective for them. What is the use of the
Hmm.
technology which you can only using in your own, in your home country? Then you, if a technology should be widespread, it should be used by others. So there should be a common consensus that yes, if one company has created something, so others can be consulted with that. Yes, this is the best technology. We need not to reinvent the wheel. So let's use
Hmm.
this one, and it is good for everyone, right? So
Hmm.
3GPP platforms. So all these organizations are there because in all of the jurisdictions they have their own standard development organization. In India, we have TSDSI. So whatever research goes through, whatever big companies sits in a platform submitting their latest research, because research, as I mean, being academia, everyone understands that research is not something, whatever we are using, it's not research. Research, it's going, right now we have particular product in our hand, but if for the future, research is already happening, right? So for the 6G, people are already worked. Now they are working on the
Hmm.
specifications, how a particular vendor or operator can use that particular product, right? So right now things are in that direction. So right now we are doing the use cases for 5G. 5G is visible in our phone signals, right? But whether 5G with the fast internet, what we had achieved, what we hadn't achieved with the 4G, right? So
Hmm.
this is the question even for the companies. So standards are playing a very crucial role. And I think in India now there's a big understanding, and the awareness is there. We don't want to create research without standards. So all
Hmm.
research should be standard focused. So we can't just sit on the table listening others that yes, this is what we have created, use our product. And
Hmm.
again and again and again and again, we'll be just relying on others, right? We are giving our money out that yes, let's use the technology, they will come. That's
Hmm.
happening. But if you see right now, we hear that China, if you'll take particularly China, so 6G, they are more advanced than even the other players, right? How? Because they are promoting standard based research. They're going in a very transparent manner in the 3GPP and other organizations, making a good consensus out of it. Okay, this is the research we are doing, and let's go for that. I think we should aim for that direction, that our academia should now also focus on the research based, standard based research, and also looking for the way wherein they can submit the research in various platforms. As I mentioned,
Hmm.
B60, Para 60 Alliance, TSDSI, they have various working groups. Please
Hmm.
have a look at the website, see
Yeah,
that,
the
because
links are there, folks.
lot of IITs are already submitting their proposal through various areas. And big focus from Government of India is actually how academia should be engaged in all this research. So
Hmm.
I think future is going to be about standards, wherein
Hmm.
India will be also sitting on the table, and we have a good say that see, we are a very big market. If other players want to come here bringing the technology, please listen to us. We also have contributions from our side.
Yeah,
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful. So, shall we take a question from the audience? Maybe it's
Yeah.
pertinent to. So, Kiran Chakravarthula, he's asking, can we know any platforms where academic researchers in India can find counterparts or research partners in other countries? And he mentions that Microsoft Academic Research used to be a good platform, but not anymore.
So I have mentioned as in Horizon 2020, lot of platforms. Even if you just visit the European Patent Office, also there. So there are a lot of links are available, wherein various academia partners are already working in. So they have their complete details. You can go and put their research, right? And Fraunhofer Institute, they're also, and because these, as I mentioned earlier, also that whatever B2Bs. So please, academia needs to engage with in various B2Bs also. Please also make visible yourself going in the various, like for example, Indian Mobile Congress happened. So a lot of people from other countries were there putting their stalls, right? So it's not just that we are just going for the seeking that, yeah, what is the best product, but let's see what all other partners are there. So I think we need to more visible. We need to be more
Hmm.
sharing on the thought and listening to others what all things are coming. So I think we need to make some effort around it. Yes, platforms
Hmm.
you will get it, but you need to go out and see what is our requirement there.
Hmm. So one more question. I think maybe it's a good question. Satyoki Kaundinya, do standards hamper startups and SMEs business because through obtaining injunctions by patent holders? So is it actually an
No,
inhibitor?
no, it's not an inhibitor at all. Not an inhibitor. Instead of that, it is giving you an opportunity, more opportunity to work on. Because see, if you are bringing in standard, for example, sitting, because if we are talking just for the others who are creating standards, and for example, if there is no relevant technology for us which everyone can use, so how you're going to work on that? So every country will have their own technology, and there is no going to be no more global collaboration will happen on that note. So if you are creating some very good technology and everyone is going to use that, so for that it's not just the big companies. That's why I'm again and again saying you need to see the right set of market also for putting your product in, right? So if you are able to put your right technology or the product or the whatever research you are doing, so yes, various platforms are there which will help you. Even the big companies are also eager, okay, if we are creating something, let's collaborate, because it's good for India, homegrown products, right? So if you're able to collaborate on that matter, and yes, it is going in forward, then also it is good for SMEs. SMEs are also looking for the product to scale up, right, for the manufacturing aspect. So they're going to manufacture that. And if it's
Hmm.
India homegrown technology which is going for the manufacturing, of course it will enable them to work in more collaborative manner. For example, I'll give a very interesting example in Airbus and others, because they are the major players in the aerospace, right? So if Boeing and others, they have they ask that, okay, for the manufacturing, let's set up a plant in India. But if Indian SMEs and startups are not aware about the standards needs to follow, so how they will bring in their manufacturing in India? So we need to be aware about what is the scenario. We need to be, first of all, we need to learn how we are going to manufacture, how we are going to create the standard, how we are going to follow the standard, right? So once we know that this is how we can play the game, then you have some experience around it. Then yes, parallelly you should focus on, okay, let's create something new for ourselves as well, because we always learn while doing. It's never being the case that we can always create something and we are the bosses. It's never going to happen. We need to learn, first of all, how we are going to create and implement in various scenarios. We need to have that kind of right
Mhm.
set of infrastructure among us, right? So if SMEs are able to set up the right set of infrastructure, then you will be having more global collaborations. SMEs will
Mhm.
have more transparent, I think, workflow as well. So they are able to follow the protocols which have been followed globally, because that's very
Mhm.
important aspect. Because even for the facility management, even small things, you need to follow the standards around it. Even
Yeah.
so, yeah. So that's my
Yeah.
answer.
Great. Let's have one more question. Very Sonali Sarkar, ma'am. She is asking. This is actually a genuine thing that Indian universities and colleges want. So, can you help in research collaborations or joint conferences hosting with foreign university? I mean, of course, you cannot directly help, but what should they do? Let's say to enable this.
Okay, so nowadays, lot many universities are open for the collaboration. That's the first thing, and even their website they always post this thing, white papers, right, and the other things. That's also very good medium. So wherein academics can look for what all universities are particularly working in. in your area, right? It's not that you want to go for a particular artificial intelligence and you want to tie up for just for the namesake, you want to tie up for sustainability university, right? So please see what all relevant universities are working in which areas. Nowadays they have lot many workshops and conferences, and also a very good medium from world intellectual property organizations. So they have platforms for academia, right? So academia can go and work with various universities. They can work with WIPO office as well, right? So they have the
Yeah.
Indian partners, so they can talk to them, and then how, because you need a partner who is reliable enough, right? And then you
Mm.
have to provide the input as well. It's not going to be the one-sided aspect, so you should be ready for the work. You need to do some homework around it. So please go through all these websites. That's why I again and again emphasize, please go to European Patent Office, because academia bring research over there. So whatever papers you will see a list of academias who are working in. You can contact to them, even for the innovators in particular area, right? And then similarly for WIPO and USPTO, names are, you can see literally the names of universities. So I think
Mm.
that's the right way to approach to any university, because without just thinking and without knowing what we are going, because you can't just hold a conference or workshop for the sake of naming it. So for
Mhm.
if you really want to run a long term work plan around it, so please think through it, identify the areas, collaborations, what you can give to them. Others, so yes, we know that we can hear from side there, but the other universities are also very eager in knowing that what other partner can bring in on board,
Mhm.
right? So we should be very, very clear what kind of research, whether we are interested in scaling our manpower, if any funding is required, so how we are going to manage through it,
Mhm.
whether we can bring in other industry partners, whether we can bring in our SMEs, because SMEs are also very good partners. Let me tell you, nowadays
Mm.
trend is that you have to have a lot of things in with the right set of stakeholders, right? So it means you need to have the right regulators, not in terms of that we want a top-notch boss from the ministry. No, we want the right person who is doing the thing, who knows their things, right? So we need right officer who are working around it. We need the implementation partner around it. Once you will go through all these databases, once you will see around it, so you will get to know that yes, these are the people who can actually tell us how to do that,
Mm.
right? So I think these are the very good
Yeah.
examples. And you can also tie up with Triple IT Hyderabad. I'm telling you, they are doing a wonderful job because they have center of excellence, and on regular basis they are holding sessions, small breakout sessions with the product teams from Europe and USA. I mean, very relevant partner, even with the industry. So you can have a word with them, learn from their side what they are doing, and then yes, open the door for yourself.
Yeah. Also, Sonali, ma'am, I'll tell you at 1:15 p.m. Please attend the lecture by Dr. Arash. He's one of the leading researchers in Finland, and I know that they are very, very open for collaboration. So please, 1:15 p.m. There's also a talk on this. So let's take a couple of more questions have come in. Let's say Yuvraj Singh, how to address the problem where SMEs don't want to scale up because of the benefits they receive from the government schemes. Is it a thing, Ankita?
See, for SMEs, yes, I do see challenge, because the mentality around it. When, because what I see in, I'll give you a very straightforward example here. In automobile sector, we see there are few places, big companies always create fence of vendors around them, right? These are the SMEs, and it's mostly managed by the family businesses, right? So they're getting the business directly from OEM. That's why they are creating particular component or something, right? But now even I have worked on a project, and the concept was like that, because if and I think 10 minutes before I just pointed out on the Airbus example. So if the companies who are manufacturing for Airbus, company, I mean manufacturing in Spain, they are coming here in India. They, even Airbus wants to give some products here in Indian SMEs. Why they should be giving it? Right? So that's a
Mhm.
very particular pertinent point, that if Indian SMEs are not aware about their infrastructure, what right set of platforms should they have, right set of technology they have to work with other partners, because I'm sure they will love business, but how to bring that business on board, that is the important aspect, right? So
Mhm.
to relook into that aspect, they need to see that. That's why, I mean, even previously I've approach to a lot of SMEs in this area, because these are family-run businesses. So we always propagate this aspect, or the idea, even through MSME ministry, that yes, SMEs needs to be on board. They should be aware that what all benefits they will get, because they are not using their 100% infrastructure right now as well. And if they will tie up with the right set of startups or scale ups or the big players, and they will implement the right set of technology, they will be able to enhance their business and work with even global OEMs, not just Indian. But they need to work on the standards also, adopting the right set of technology. You can't just
Mhm.
put, and you have to have the skilled manpower, because again and again, even in a lot of reports, if you will see from the SME sector, the ministries, you will see what problem you will see. Problem of skilled manpower, not having the right set of technology in place. So even when you say digitization is not just putting all IoTs and other things in picture. It means how your skilled manpower is going to implement the technology in your place, and how you're going to utilize the efficiency of your infrastructure to create the more, I mean, relevant products, or scaling up the things.
Mhm. Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
There are some questions. Let me ask you one of my questions. I mean, how is IP? I mean, let's say academia. Let's take in the context of academia. Are they relevant in standards? And also maybe a related question: how is IP related to standards? Like how seriously and how we should take IP and standards like together?
Okay. So whenever we do some research, we want to safeguard as well, right? So we say that whatever we had done, so we need to have some return on investment. Commercialization of technology is one thing, but without infringing others, and without being infringed ourselves, we want to have our part, right? We want to have money in our pockets as well, return on investment. So
Hmm.
for that, you're going to file IP for that, right? So whatever standards are coming, all these are patented technologies. It's just the thing that they are available for you and the very fair cost, because it's widely
Hmm.
implemented, right? And everyone is getting benefited out of it, because if you're using an 5G technology, you're able to create some better solutions around it. So other industry is also blooming around it. Okay, so
Hmm.
patents and standards goes hand in hand, because you need to
Hmm.
safeguard yourself as well, and that is a
Hmm.
relation. So if you'll see, you can't create anything without having the right market. For the
Hmm.
market, if you're creating something, you need to safeguard for return on investment.
Yeah.
For that, you have to file the IP, right? And
Yeah.
then parallelly, if you're filing the IP for making a standard, because standard takes some longer time and more consensus around it. For developing the
Hmm.
technology direction, you have to have your IP in place, and parallelly going in the right standard development organization, propagating your forward solution forward.
Hmm.
So
And
that's
do
a
you
link.
think tech transfer is more easier for universities if they are having IP near about standard technologies?
See, absolutely. And standards, and let me again clear this point. Standard is something which is not you are able to create in even 5 months, right? It takes some time, because standard is going
Hmm.
to be globally adopted. It's not something very small. You need to have relevant partners and supporters around it, a big company with you, right? But you can parallelly start the way to contribution, to making contributions and going forward, because you need supporters with it. So that's a process, parallelly will go, but before that you need to file for the IP as well, whatever relevant IP for it. And technology transfer, see, if even not going for the standards, you are able to create a demand driven solution. So technology transfer is going to be very easy for you, because you have
Hmm.
right set of market in front of you. Again and again, this question, if you see, this is a circle, right? So again,
Hmm.
you're coming back. We have created something.
To the
Why
market and
another person will need it? Because it's a right set for us, right? But again,
hmm.
why others will come in picture? Because you have created something for your area, and they're thinking that it's good for our jurisdiction as well. But we have to have a POC, a customized technology, so they will come to you. Give
Hmm.
to us, let's do the transfer, let's customize it us, let customize jointly, and if something IP jointly will come, so let's share 50-50, let's and work on that and getting the return on investment. That's how I
Yeah.
think complete cycles goes around. Yes.
Yeah. Any questions you see in the chat which are pertinent to the, because I see some questions, but they are mostly uh no. Please comment on SWOT analysis of global collaborations as far as IP protection is concerned. Maybe I can ask, so maybe the last question.
Yeah.
So, are there any case studies of IP transfer, or just good good tech success story of some Indian company going to Europe, or even vice versa? Some good case study.
Because what I see, yes, there are few societies who have done good technology transfer, even with the help of NRDC and others. Because see, even the oil refineries are also working towards it. Because sometimes they just want to keep it a closed thing, right?
Hmm.
Closed door thing. So we have got this even in aerospace sector, in defense sector, you will see a lot of good startups, right? So that's why I'm saying again and again, if you are focusing on the right stakeholder and the
Sector,
right
yeah,
fit,
sector.
you're able to get it.
Hmm.
But here, I mean, I know that's I'm saying that yes, you're able to see the right fit and you're able to get it. But again, sometimes there are a lot of challenges around it, right?
Hmm.
In that case, there are a lot of associations are available, but you need to wait on that. And it should not be the case that you have created something. If one product is not working, then you're stuck on that, right?
Hmm.
Please see around it what you can do better, and not just going for the global level, but what we can do in our country in a specific area, right? Because India is such a large country, and wherein if you see the right set you can fit in, so please go through to all available resources. For example, Smart City Mission, they have also this platform, you can
Hmm.
submit your solutions, right? So I think we need to be open for all sort of collaborations around it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid, the time is limited. I mean, we could keep
Okay.
going on asking, so many so many questions, very very practical questions. So any last question, suppose from the chat, if you want, if you think any
But again, yeah,
question you would.
I want to highlight on this point that case studies you have mentioned. So even
Okay.
in general, if you see, a lot of success stories are in your story, in your story platform. If you see, just I'm just telling you that while reading it, because sometimes people don't
Hmm.
want to disclose. Even they are in contract with big companies. Yes, you are giving a technology to others, but they don't want to disclose it, right? Because they are creating a big product around it, and they are on the name of themselves. They are doing it, right? Sometimes it happens like in that manner. And sometimes it's that there's a confidential technology they have created with the help of some startups or SMEs as well, but they don't want to disclose to the in public, only in the relevant circle, right? It happens. But please, please go to all patent offices again and again. I'm emphasizing on the point. They have published successful case studies. You will
Hmm.
see what kind of challenges these companies had faced earlier, what do's and don'ts are there, because that's also learning. I'll give you a very interesting example from Europe side. A European company came in India, right? And they have a very good technology around the timber side, and they're like, okay, let's do the technology transfer. We want to implement a technology here. They have got a very good player as well to work. And then when doing the assessment, they said that yes, we have a patent. They have 2-3 patents around it. But what happened? They forgot to pay the renewal fee. And when we done the check,
Hmm.
because just a small negligence around it, their patent was
Hmm.
invalidated. So they have 3-4 patents, and the crucial patent was invalidated. So what you will do? The technology was relevant. You've got the right partner, but you're not able to see through it, right? So again and again,
Yeah.
if you have a patent, please have a look whether it is relevant or not. I mean, whether it's going for the regular renewals, any objections are there. So please see. And it's not just the patent. If you are able to see the trademark, right, and if you are go for the copyright and related rights, so any kind of IP also works. So it's not just necessarily every time you need to have a patent around it, right?
Hmm.
So please open for this thing as well. And in Europe, because Indian IP umbrella never covers trade secret, it's under common law.
Hmm.
But in Europe
Yeah.
and the jurisdiction, trade secret is under IPR umbrella. right? So
Hmm.
please be aware that if other companies coming, they have trade secret, they are assuming, they might be assuming that it is covered under here, but you should
Covered.
be very
Yeah.
very clear that it is not covered. So if you are
Very
using their trade
important.
secret, they you are going to have lot of, so whenever joint IPs or joint whatever documents you will sign, so please be aware all these facts around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful to host you, Ankita. Thank you so much for your valuable thoughts on this, very less discussed topic on IP and standards. Great. I think we are a bit past time. I'm sorry about that. So, any last words, Ankita, if you have for the audience, and we'll conclude the session after that.
So I would like to thank you, and again and again, I request our academy partners. Yes, lot of strength, lot of good research is happening. But if new areas are coming, new R&D projects you're submitting, please go through all these patent office databases, have a look at that, and see what you can create. Always go for the problem statement and the demand around it. You'll be able to see the success, and nowadays, so it's, I think, better environment, and the support is
Mm,
available even for the, not just the IITs and others, for other universities as well, right? And you should use what all other areas in terms of because I'm again and again emphasizing on the satellite communication, right? So satellite communications is not just the communication area. If you see sustainability, energy, a lot of good areas are coming around it. Please have a look around it, what you can create
mm,
in India, because it's a very very niche sector. If you see within 10 years, you will see again a resurgence of something, right? So even in agri-tech, in, because if you're going for surveillance and other things, so security and then surveillance and then agri-tech, this is going to be a very big areas around it. So please see, and if you need any other help, so you can ping me in IG. So yeah,